have a special guest on today. And by the way, we are pre-recording the show, which doesn't usually happen, but I'll join you in the chat tomorrow when it airs. But we have Elise Adams on today from Big Sky Paranormal Conference. Hi, Elise. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How it's glad I'm
Good.
glad to be on with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on the show. Yeah. I figured this was going to be really fun because one of my favorite subjects is paranormal stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about your conference?
So, well, first um I'm Bozeman Paranormal Society to begin with.
Mhm.
But now we run a paranormal conference called Big Sky Paranormal Conference. It's now going to be 5 years old this year. We do it out at the Clark Chateau in Butte, Montana at the end of September, so about September 26th. It has over about 20 speaking guests throughout Montana and all around the states and all over the world pretty much. And then we go and do ghost investigations, and we have the wonderful Chris Fisk that will take you on go spooks and spirits tours and just all types of subjects with the paranormal. So it's not just spirits, it's UFOs, cryptic creatures, anything that you can name, is what my idea was to run a conference, because I am Bozeman Paranormal is a
Right.
nonprofit, so we do a lot of fun events. So yeah.
Mm, wonderful. Can you tell us more about being a nonprofit for Bozeman Paranormal?
So it since 2012, when I started Bozeman
Mhm.
Paranormal, we thought it was a good idea to make it a nonprofit because we thought it was a better way to get into buildings. It looks like we're more professional and more secure. So I started looking
Mhm.
into that. Well, it also brought up the idea of what if we did want to do events later on? So, and this is a way
Mhm.
to help the community as well, with buildings. So I do like a lot of events throughout the state. So I do one like in Virginia City. And then I also do even little smaller events with the Clark Chateau, which are all mostly donated based. I also do ghost walking tours of Bozeman. So and I do like just I'm partnered with a lot of places throughout the state. And a lot of times it ends up helping preserve history, so a lot of the funding goes towards these buildings. So we're just helping each other out is what it is. And that's kind of how my nonprofit started. First, it was just to help us look more professional, and now it's just helping preserve history. So yeah.
I love that. I have gotten to go on be with the conference. Not I mean I want to experience everything, so I can't be everywhere at once, but but for the
Yeah.
past couple of years I've gotten to do it and it's really really cool. I love going and I love interacting with people and where we get to investigate because of your business. So that's pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank a lot of years, because my group is also going to be 14 years old in
Wow.
March. So a lot of times it ended up like just an idea from Phillipsburg. They were like, "Hey, do you maybe we want to make a conference out of your group?" It's always been an idea for our group for a while. Like we did try to make one in 2014, but we were not as like we didn't know what to do at that point. Like we're not really
Mhm.
sure what the aspects of a con was, and I felt like we needed more experience of how events are ran. So
Mhm.
now that we've done like tours and we do small ghost hunting events and stuff like that, it just came so easily, because all it is panels and ghost hunting and putting together all these people. Well, my whole idea for the conference was um, getting like people that have the same ideas as me. Like they really want to get to know each other. getting more ideas from other ghost hunting groups, really being passionate about the paranormal in all aspects, not just ghosts and stuff like that. Really
Right.
coming together and preserving a historical site, and also supporting a very historical city. So, and that's really
Right.
what my aspects of for the con was.
That's wonderful. I love it. So, can you share with us what's your favorite ghost story?
Oh, now I have to think about that. Um, what like my favorite experience?
Yeah.
Huh. So I guess I'll talk about my one that's I talk about a lot. So
Mhm.
one of my most profound kind of experience was in Virginia City. So Virginia City is really like a big part of our group. I'm just gonna say that. And but one year, it was like our second year of being a group. We obviously don't know what we're doing. And we thought it would just be fun to go one August evening to just go walk around the boardwalk at night, go up to the cemetery, go check out the town, just kind of do our own thing. Well, we
Mhm.
were, walking up and down the boardwalk, and I noticed there's a building called the Hangman's House. So that's where they hung all the vigilantes in this back
Mm.
room. They'll show you where the beam was where they hung the
Wow.
vigilantes. Well,
Uh-huh.
on one side of this building was like a little trinket shop. Um,
Mhm.
well, when we were approaching it, I was noticing that the door was open and there's no lights on in the building. And this was like 7, 8 p.m. So obviously there's nothing open. And
Right.
I'm walking up to it with a member, and we look over and watch a man appear over by like where the register would be. And we're like,
Uh-huh.
what in the hell was that? Pretty much. And and I didn't know. We didn't even have that much equipment. We had maybe 2 cameras, an EMF meter, and a voice recorder. It wasn't that exciting. And um and then my other members didn't see this happen because they were behind us. And then this man invited us in, and I'm not making this up. So I sounds like I'm a broken record because I tell this story a lot. And we walk into this room, which is full of rocks. Like it's a rock show. Like it's like a little rock, like little gift shop.
Like a crystal
And
shop? Uh-huh.
yeah, it was like a little crystal shop. Um, and the man's like, I've been sitting here drinking a beer. He did not have a beer in his hand until he said that. So, and I thought that was really weird. And he just keeps talking to us. And everybody's like looking at the rocks and stuff. My member and I never left like, we kept staring at him because we were like, dude, this guy's talking. He's not alive, and he's talking to us. And it was like a whole 30 minutes, and nobody would know because obviously I'm not going to tell people, oh, by the way, this guy's dead. We might be in a horror movie at this point. I don't know. So, um, and and it was like we were sitting there, right? And I'm all like, we have to keep talking to him. Let's see what happens. There is a picture
Right.
of him somewhere in the archives of years. Remember, I am 14 years old, so that's a lot
Yeah.
of pictures. Um, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to go to the hangman's house?" After we told him that we're ghost hunters and we're talking about that, we don't remember. And I actually just talked to somebody about how I also can agree. I don't like this feeling. So we don't remember coming from where the rock shop was and going to where the hangman's house part was. Like we just time
Wow.
slipped into this room. So that was
Wow.
weird. Um, and then we also only had like infrared, um, RI, temp gun. So we're like, I want to know what this degree is. So now I want to know if he's cold. Um, and he was room temperature, which in the middle of like kind of end of August is about 50 degrees at night. So, especially in
Yeah.
a very, not so great
Live
room,
in the mountains.
he was
Yeah.
53 degrees, like on your himself. So,
Wow.
and I was like, that's really weird. And then at this point, I started to secretly record him. So there's a recording of him somewhere. Um, he also his movements in that tiny room was very strange. Like he would move away from us a lot. Like I feel like if we brushed next to him, it would not be okay. Like you and me and like, yeah. So
Right.
he also, I think, manipulated cold spots because he'd be like, "Oh
Mm.
yeah, there'd be like cold spots in this area, which it would be 20 degrees, and then this area where it'd be 20 degrees." So it was very strange.
Wow.
So then when we came out of the room, we were still talking to him, and it I was still trying to get him to just disappear. Like at this point, I'm like, what is this? I have theories, so I'll tell you after this because I did a lot of research on whatever we had experience with. Um,
Wow.
for 30 minutes still, we were still talking to him. And then I'm like, okay, it's getting really late. It's like past midnight at this point. I'm like, we need to go home. And Virginia City's only an
Wow.
hour drive from us. So um
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, it's time to go. Well, it was like a horror movie. When we drove by the place, the door was open and it was dark inside. Like it never even happened. It was so weird. So, a little
Wow.
fast forward, the story still goes for a minute. I brought this up to she's at the con. Her name's Janet Burke. Um, she
Okay.
comes out to
Mhm.
our investigations a couple times and she helps me clear energies and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
there was a campground that we went out to help this friend of mine. Sadly, she doesn't own that place anymore. But
Mm.
we helped clear an energy out there. And I brought this up and she goes, for I did run into and see a shapeshifter over by the gas stations. And I'm like, huh. And I'm
Wow.
like, that made me really want to research that. And I thought it was a
Mm.
doppelganger at first. So I don't think it was now that I know enough about doppelgangers. Doppelgangers are always in a
Mhm.
distance, they never are close to you. They can't really have like but a 1 or 2 word conversation with you. They because after I saw a picture of him afterwards, just a little things were off. He did wear like a fedora with cards on the side of his hat, but in this
Mm.
picture I saw of this man, which I'm gonna let you know. So this man looked like the store owner, but
Cool.
obviously he
Mhm.
probably stepped away for he probably closed the shop and then left. Well, I had
Mm.
a member in this group that was an anthropology major and was doing research over at
Mhm.
Virginia City, had a picture of him, and I was just like, oh my God, what? And he his hat was off. Like the colors of his cards were off from what I saw in person. So
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
that made me think about doppelganger. Well, after I talked to Janet, it made me more think about shapeshifter. So, and shapeshifters can hold their appearance for a very long time. So,
Right.
that's the theory. Like you could see him walking down the road for a long time. So it made me wonder if
Mhm.
that's what I ran into. I've had other people talk about they've had like kind of a similar conversation with this man and or have seen something kind of similar to it
Mhm.
in town. And I've also mentioned it to the owner who said, "You're
Wow.
not the only one that has mentioned that to me." So it was just kind of weird. So
Wow.
that was my weirdest and most profound experience. I now
That
probably
is
sound
very,
like a
very
crazy person.
profound.
Yes. um,
No, my world.
so no, but yeah, so that was my most interesting experience. I don't think anything could top it. So unless I all of a sudden become interview with a ghost. Oh,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
I've never
So
actually seen a full body apparition like that. Well, not that I know of that I could, you know, in my mind actually prove. So I do a lot of clearing, but I see them with this eye and not these eyes, right? So
yeah,
so it's really interesting to me to have people like interacting with one so tangible. Yeah,
yeah. I
that's just
normally don't
fascinating.
see spirits like you. I'm just an empath,
Mhm.
so I only feel like right now I could probably feel to this car that's physically in front of me and the person over
Right,
there. But I'm
right.
not like I can't go, "Oh, there's a ghost over there," because I could see George over there. Like
Mhm.
I don't have those experiences. So,
Mhm. So this was
yeah.
unique for you too.
Yep, yep, it was very
Yeah.
unique. And
Wow.
that the same, like having experience with my member at the time who also
Mhm.
saw the person appear, and she was not even that sensitive either, was like crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Virginia City does have a lot of interesting energy in it from all, I believe it's from all of the history there, you know,
Yep,
from the
yep.
vigilantes and it was it's a really cool place now, but at that time I don't think it was an easy life for anybody really, you
No,
know, even
it's
even
list
probably people that had money.
it's also listed as my most haunted place in Montana, because every time we
Oh
go
yeah.
there, it's like an experience every time. Now, my favorite place in Montana is Bannock, um, but
Okay.
Virginia City is on its own level of chaos. So it's like you walk there and you're always having the experience, or something, or somebody in your party has had an experience. So I
Mhm.
every time I go there, I'm like, one of you all will have an experience tonight because I know. So, but when
Right.
I'm at Bannock, which is second home for me, so like I meditate and I go to Bannock. It's my happy place. And
Mhm.
I don't feel that when I'm there. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
like a sense of the spirits are kind of at peace, but they haven't had as much trauma,
Mhm.
even though Henry Plummer was there. Henry Plummer's actually a very nice ghost if you get to know him. So he really
Fabulous.
is. I mean, I played blackjack with him last year. So
Wow.
he yeah. So and I
Oh,
know it was
cool.
him. And but it was one of those like I feel like Bannock is on its own, like, it's haunted. We have experiences almost every year, but it's not as intense as when you go to Virginia City. Like, there's always
Yeah.
something more. So, like,
Mhm.
even when we went to in October, we had that kind of insane. It was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, that's why. But Bannock's my favorite place. If that was a question.
Mhm. That's wonderful. Yeah. I
And
go to a lot of hot springs too, and the hot springs are always an interesting energy for me, especially the ones. Let's see. Oh, come on. Yeah. Now I should look at a Montana map. I used to work in White Sulphur, and that was
oh,
really interesting energy. It was hard for me to sleep because I lived in the old hospital, and it was very busy with spirits.
we
But
just did
the
an
hot springs are
investigation
fun.
at that museum. We just did an investigation at
Did
the
you? Yeah.
museum,
How'd that
and
go?
I always thought the board were ghosts. because we had such an
Um,
experience with the board of that area. Like they would like answer us and then their phone number would disappear. And I'm all like, okay, I don't care how much this building is. I just want to know who runs this because there has to be some weird. It was so weird. Such an active building though. It was a creepy building.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot going on in that building. There's a doll in there that we even caught blinking.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's one
I
doll
don't
that
like dolls anyway, but
uh, you should know I love dolls because one actually comes to my conference. So yeah.
I
So
remember that and I thought,
yeah,
"Oh, okay."
yeah.
But yours
So
is
in
a
that
good doll
building,
energy. Yeah.
yes, that building, I think most of the energy is the ghosts attaching themselves to the dolls because then they could be
Yeah.
known. Like it just all of a sudden just shows up.
Mhm.
Like I don't think the doll that I'm thinking of was active until they put it in that building. so,
Yeah.
so it was
Right.
just
Right.
really weird. Like all of a sudden they're like, we just started having experience with this doll. Now we have to put it in the closet and it makes knocking sounds sometimes. And you're like,
You
I'm
need to
like
let it
that.
out.
Yeah, and don't think it. And my thought was, I don't think you should have dolls in this building. That's how
You're
I'm
right.
like, it's yeah. So but really creepy experience. I can't wait to go back. Which who knows when that will be. And
Yeah.
because it took us 8 years to get in that building. Like I
Oh my
was
god.
determined. I'm one of those people. I'll spend years if it's a building that I want to get into, like I have a
Mhm.
weird calling towards it, I will get into the building.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that.
But
There is a
speaking
building sorry, there is a
anyways,
building in White Sulphur Springs that has been several things, and last I knew, it was, like an Airbnb. I think you could rent rooms in it,
mhm,
but it's, to the west a little bit from the highway, where you come up from Livingston, and south from, like, the highway that's Main Street that goes through town. Um, so, like, south of the 2 mansions, the Ringling Mansion and the other one.
mhm,
I think you take that same road to get to this building, but it used to be the poor farm, was one of its functions, and then I think it was, um, like a retirement home or something.
mhm.
Anyway, we had music night there one night, and, I'm going to tell you that it was an interesting night for us. So, I would suggest you do that one too.
Yeah, I'll put it on the determined list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
then
gal
speaking of hot springs, I do
Mhm.
believe a lot of our hot springs in Montana are very haunted. So, because it's
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
place that spirits can rest. So, and I do
Right.
believe that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, Boulder Hot Springs is a very haunted building. So, um, we're supposed to go there this next weekend. So, and I always love it because it feels like you're soaking with the ghosts. You know that they're throwing
Wow.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's the
but
one I was
yeah,
trying to think of. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful building. If you ever get out there, it's like it's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody wants to come out to Montana and do tours, let us know because I think that would be super fun. Um,
Yep.
yeah, so are there other places that you would suggest that people go if they want to experience something in Montana?
Well, next to Boulder Hot Springs, I feel like if if you really want like an like an intense experience. Well, the Dumas brothel is like supposed to be the most haunted place. I don't like the Dumas brothel, but it is a place that people, if you really want to experience a ghost, you're probably going to have an experience. Virginia
Right.
City, Bannock is probably a place that people should always come to when you come to Montana. It is just a
Mm-hmm. I
profound
agree.
area. I really enjoy it. Um, I feel like anywhere in Butte that I suggest is probably a place you should
Right.
go. I am partnered with so
Mhm.
many places out in Butte now. If you're coming out to Bozeman, the Rialto Theater is probably the most haunted
Mhm.
building in Montana in Bozeman. I am the first investigating group that's ever been in the Rialto. And
Nice.
still, like we go there almost once a year. Um, and I had an experience of an opera singer named Pablo, and we ended up catching him on a video recording, and it goes Pablo, Pablo, Pablo. And later on, we found out there was an opera singer that lived in Bozeman called Pablo Alvira, and he loved the Rialto, so that was one of his favorite places. And something I do believe in is if you're a happy spirit, if that is a place that you're happy at, you're not going to want to pass. Like that's where you want to be. He's a party ghost,
Right.
so
Yeah.
he really loves being around the parties. He loves it. We had so many, like anytime we take people over to do ghost tours and there's something going on, I know Pablo's not going to come out and go, "Oh, I'm going to go talk to you on the ghost box." No, he's most likely at the party. So, and
Mhm.
like so if you ever come to Bozeman, I do recommend taking a show at the Rialto Theater. The Emerson is also a very haunted building. I now am partnered with the theater there. Um, with
Mhm.
the Verge Theater. I do like some, costuming events with them. And their
Oh, great.
building is so haunted. I usually try to take people in there. We've seen shadow figures. There's like so many things goes on in the Emerson. So I would recommend seeing
Mhm.
that bill area. Anyways, taking a Spooks and Spirits tours and Butte, they will give you the whole rundown of all the haunted places in Butte. So, and yeah,
Right.
just a very haunted area. Like that's what we are. So, we are also one of the
Yeah.
states with the most ghost towns. So, yeah.
Are we really?
Yeah, I
Huh.
think so. Next to
That's
Arizona,
interesting to
I
me.
think. I think Arizona has
Wow.
more than us. But yeah, because a lot of
Huh.
people just tear them down and put new stuff up.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I have done Chris Fisk's tour uh, mm, at least once, and I was in the Dumas, and I don't like going in the basement. For I'll
Uh,
describe it a little bit though, because most of the people that listen to the show aren't from Montana. So it's in Butte, Montana. Butte, Montana, at one point had 150,000 people, which is insane for Montana. And that was when the mine was going very strong up there. It's a copper mine, and the history of Butte is just fascinating to me. And but this Dumas brothel was open until way into the 80s. Seems like it was 87 or something. But it was very interesting to go in there, and I was able to write a story about one of the gals that I experienced in there. That she did lived on the main level, but the basement um, has like little like being in a jail, and that's where the cheapest girls would work, and then it went on up from there, and the upper floor is just I thought it was beautiful. But creepy that there are mattresses laying everywhere too. So that's a little off. Um
mhm.
but the story, I don't remember the story that I wrote down. I just channeled it through. and then I sent it back to Chris Fisk. But if you ever get a chance to take a walking tour with him, he's fascinating because he knows all the history and can tell you about all the history from all those buildings as well. So, um, do you do that, Elise, when you do? I assume you know quite a bit of the history from Bozeman when you do walking tours, right?
I do like
Yeah.
a little bit of history, like summary of history, and then get
Mhm.
into like the ghost stories. But I also bring out equipment so then people can have that personable experience of being
Oh,
a
yeah.
ghost hunter.
Yeah.
So I make it more unique so that people actually can have that experience.
Mhm.
And kind of so I feel like um, Chris tries to put more history into it, but for me, I try to do like so then people can kind of have a base of what this building was like, and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
the experiences from there, so then maybe they can channel into that. So and try to have that with their equipment. So yeah.
That's so
The,
cool.
I hate the Dumas brothel. I don't go into the Dumas brothel.
You don't
I
like
make
to go
people
there, huh?
no. I'm all like, nope. I was actually sexually harassed by a ghost down in the first on in the
Oh,
basement. I felt
yeah.
fingernails and fingers like they were cold. And
Wow.
yeah, and they touched me from
Yeah.
head to toe. And I was actually
Yeah.
helping Chris run an event that year. So I was taking
Wow.
people into the like it was like a ghost tour. Like you would take people ghost hunting in one location, and then you would go over and do ghost hunting in another location. And then you had multiple
Mhm.
tour people, so they all had like a group. So you just take them all over a
Right.
town.
Mm.
And then it was like a walking distance. So then you were really like taking. So,
Mhm.
and we were the group that ended with the Dumas brothel at the last, we were like the last tours. So we were allowed to be in there as long as we wanted. And then
Mm.
I felt from head to toe like fingernails. It was like a
Mhm.
the best way to describe it was like a witch's nail or something from
Yeah.
like a Halloween myth, like as close to what I could describe it. James also, my tech manager, which everybody gets to usually meet at the conference,
Right.
um,
Uh-huh.
he saw this figure of a black mass turn into something behind me. So,
Wow.
and everybody's like, "Oh, is that your favorite story to tell?" No, I'm all like,
I don't wanna bring that
I
back up.
don't even like the thinking that I got. It was like creepy, but it made me
Yeah.
think that that's whatever. There's supposed to be a story of something in there that's not so nice, and they can label them as a judge. So,
Mhm.
and my thought is that's what I experienced. So usually I say, hey, you really should just take a Spooks and Spirits tour thing because you're not going to be in the Dumas brothel for that long.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
and you're with people. Don't go by yourself, is what my number one
Right.
goal is to tell people when it comes to the Dumas brothel is don't go and take a tour by yourself. Like it's on a safe
Mm.
building, constructionally wise. So, but also it's just not safe to go roam around not so nice spirits buildings.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Those are the things we need to clear out of the places. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one doesn't wanna leave.
That one likes
So
being in that building.
right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
also not going to latch onto you, so you don't have to worry about that. It wants
No,
to
it
stay in
likes
that
you right
building.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's right. Have you ever gone to a place where you thought that it was just well, the Dumas. So do you have any other places like houses that you've cleared that you felt like, oh, these people shouldn't even live there because it's hopeless?
Yep. I've actually had that a couple times. There's like a couple apartments where I'm more of a spiritual person, so I don't
Mhm.
really believe in like demonic-y things. I believe in
Right.
nasty energies. So and
Mhm.
something was trying to keep latching on to the little kids. And
Oh.
we tried to clear it so many times, and this
Mm.
is before like Janet's time where she probably could actually get rid of them.
Mm.
And it kept coming back. So, and
Wow.
at this point, I was like, if I can't get rid of it, and I don't have the resources, you really should think about moving. And prior to this, the owners were, good people, and then they started bringing up like they started drinking and they started doing like not so good things, and I was like, those are signs of not so good energies being in buildings.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I was like, this is a place where people shouldn't be living. Like it's stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
I don't obviously don't know if they still live there, but yeah. And
Mm.
then I also have been in buildings where people have just moved because we realize it's not a spirit, and it's just structurally something a manager could fix. So, and
Really?
they wouldn't believe it. It was there were so ghosts in the building because they had such high EMF readings every time you would go by the
Oh, yeah.
box. And it's something that obviously a
Mm.
couple of fuses and stuff need to be replaced in the fuse box. And it was like
Right.
something, and
Yeah.
if you don't replace those things, it's gonna put off EMF all over your house. And then everybody should know, if you're around high EMF, you'll start hallucinating. So you'll think that
Mhm.
you have a poltergeist in your house. So,
Mhm.
um, and I tried to explain that to this lady, and she's like, "Oh, we're just gonna move." I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay."
That's an option.
I mean, sure. I'm like, if you believe that you don't believe me, I mean, the next person's just gonna be like, well, the maintenance person will just go in here and just realize that there's some things that need to be replaced. And yeah,
Right.
but it could have been happening also below.
Mhm.
Like maybe the whole fuse system needed to be replaced. And to me, I'm like, things like that could have been saved so much time and moving. So,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm. Uh, yeah. Sometimes I watch these shows and I'm astounded at um how they've just left people hanging, these TV shows that are about the
Mhm.
paranormal. And maybe it's the production that yeah,
It
we don't
normally
know what
is.
really happens behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, and people, they get the wrong idea with those shows because they think that we catch things all the time. And I said, man, if it happened like that all the time, I would be like running. I like would have a lot of money, so or something. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. Spirits don't come out. I've had people on our tours go, so where are the ghosts? Like because they expect that we are a TV show. And I said, ghosts don't just come out when you want them to. It's not like the TV show. And most of the
Right.
time, the TV show just edits it into the show. So then they can make it
Mhm.
where it looks like that.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Mm. Let's see. I want to ask you about you said when the conference was going to be. I want to make sure we go over that again so that people will know where they can see that. So, um, do you want to tell us again? It's at the
It's at the
yeah,
Clark
yeah. Please
Chateau.
tell us.
Yeah, it's at the Clark Chateau in Butte, Montana. It's a beautiful mansion. Um, just a lot of stairs. And then um and it's on September 26th. We'll have ticket sales up hopefully by early February, because so you'll just watch that Big Sky Paranormal Con.com or come on to our Facebook page at Boson Paranormal Society. We'll have that event up here in a couple weeks. There'll be over 20 speaking guests. You guys get to go on, investigate with Chris Fisk, or you get to come investigate with me at the Hodgins Ryan Mansion, which is a beautiful mansion in Butte, Montana, with a lot of ghosts. So, and
Cool.
yeah, and then also we will have like a lot, like you guys get to go ghost hunting of the Clark Chateau and be part of a seance. There's going to be speaking guests, not just of the paranormal, but there'll be of like UFOs and cryptid creatures and all types of things about the paranormal. Uh, and there's all types of ghost investigating groups that are throughout Montana or outskirts of Montana, and
Hmm.
just kind of just all these kind of things. I'm so sorry. I needed to yawn for a
I
second.
understand.
So yeah, and then so yeah, just go and check out bigskyparanormalcon.com, or just come and check us out on our Facebook page, Bozeman Paranormal Society. Just look us up on our Facebook. We also do events throughout the year, so you guys can check out that on our both actually the website and Facebook.
Excellent. Good deal. Yeah. So there is more. There is more. There is more. We want to, or I wanted to ask you about how you got into this personally. Did you always have this going on where you were always interested in the paranormal?
Yes, I actually, my parents always been into the paranormal. We TV shows, like I'm gonna age myself, like watching Haunted History off of the History Channel, which is no longer a show, and just like really weird. My dad loves ghost hunting shows, which is super funny because I always tell him, you could come and do the real thing. And, yeah, and I tease him about that all the time. And he's always been into that kind of stuff. Same with my mom. And then,
Mhm.
but the group um came to me in a dream. So, and I felt
Oh,
like it was a calling. So the name originally
uh-huh.
was Bozeman Paranormal, and it still is underneath our nonprofit name. But I also
Mhm.
own, I have Bozeman Paranormal Society. But but yeah, so we usually call ourselves Bozeman Paranormal Society, but the name Bozeman Paranormal came to me in a dream. So, and I felt like it was
Good.
just that calling at that moment to be able
Yeah.
to, run a group. And after that, I was just decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Excellent. I love that. And you have other jobs too, right? What else do you do?
So I'm a
'Cause I
medical
know you're
assistant
busy.
as yes, I'm a medical assistant as
Okay.
my full-time job, but I do work a second job, and that is as I'm
Mhm.
a caregiver for a home care company. So yeah. So I work and I run too many groups.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Busy gal. That's why we're recording the show because we had to coordinate 3 busy lives.
Yep. Yep. As I work my full-time job tomorrow, and that's a long day. So
Yeah. Yeah. Those are long days. Wow. Yeah. Um, there is, in the Clark Chateau, are there, specific ghosts that you've experienced right there?
I feel like there's only two spirits in the building. Like I've had a couple of mediums go in there and they're like, there's not that many. That's so something I've learned
Mhm.
when I run events. You don't want to have a conference where it's very, very active because like mediums
Right.
sometimes want to do a panel where they're going to read the room. Well, if we notice, ghosts are rude. So, and a lot of times they'll push the old granny off to the side and go, "No, I want to talk." And then, so I really wanted a building that was not very
Mhm.
haunted. And there's really only two spirits that
Mhm.
I ran into. There's like a little child, which I think is a boy, because he doesn't come forward a lot. And then there's a butler type ghost. So, and that's the only
Yeah.
spirits that we run into. Like, and we feel like that's enough. So, because a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people,
funny.
if they're,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're around a lot of energy all day in a building, that's going to be too much, anyways, when you're running a con. Like, you're going to be exhausted by noon, and it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then it's just enough because then when you're doing some ghost hunting there, you might run across them. And if not, then you
Hmm.
might, at least you could see that not all mansions from period times are that haunted. So, so yeah, that's why it's in the Clark Chateau. And then two, it's not very haunted. So yeah, you froze. Oh no. Uh oh, we lost her.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by as we resolve this issue.
Okay. Oh, our future plans are like, well, run the con, but this year alone, we have such an amazing amount of things. Like, this is our off season, but I do set up a couple of investigations. Like, we just did an investigation at the Livingston Depot, but we also have now one in 2 weeks, which is at the um, Masonic Lodge 18, which is a very active building that has a door that is locked from the inside, which we think it must have something that's not so nice in the building. It's a really weird energy. And then we really pick up at the end of March. We're going to be going back out to the um, Tall Boys Tavern, which is out in Hobsons, Montana, which we caught some weird activity up there of somebody just random talking, some random EVPs, um, some random times where the K2 went off for no reason when we were not in the room, stuff like that. And then we also going back out to Fishtail, Montana to go to Fishtail General Store. And we actually caught the most random EVP out there of this man named um, Zimmerman, which was the original owner of Fishtail General Store. You would also, if you worked there, I don't know how those people work there. Like, it was like walking through a brick wall. I was like, oh hell
Oh my
no,
God.
I would be able to work there. Oh hell no. It's the oldest general store in Montana. And I was like,
Hmm.
this place has to be haunted. I'm like, it was. It was very haunted. Like the K2 meter, those buildings don't really have the K2 meters going off. Like there's just like, it was weird
Yeah.
times where the K2 meter would go off. And I asked them, so are you the original owner? And it would go off. And then stuff like that. So the owner did not tell the employees we were coming. And that I came in and I'm like, oh, we're a ghost hunting group. The lady was like, oh. And then gave me like this look of like, what? And then I said, oh, the owner let us go in. They had to call the owner, the owner was in so much excitement that we were there, and then the employee was like, "Just don't ask me any questions." And I'm all like, "Yeah." So, and I was like, now the owner is so excited that we're coming back to show her evidence because she obviously must have had experiences in there. You know,
Right.
the kid
Yeah.
there that
Yeah.
was the deli person that's only worked there for like 2 months. Fishtail, if anybody wanted to know, it's only like 45 minutes from Red Lodge actually. So
Hmm.
obviously these people probably live in Red Lodge and then drive up to go work. So but it's a very active building that I'm looking forward to going back to. We're now completely partnered with the Docks Bar, so which is a very active bar in Butte, Montana. It is literally kitty cornered to the Cabbage Patch, and just down the road
Oh,
from on the same road as the Dumas brothel. Like it's like
wow.
maybe 2 blocks down from the Dumas brothel. So
Huh.
we've caught many activity there. It's my vice president Joshua's favorite place now, because he had the moment of feeling like something walked behind him. He could feel the vibrations of this down in the basement. So my vice president is deaf. So um and
Wow.
he thinks that this is the most profound area. Now, maybe not profound for me because I never really had a true experience there, but for him, he's very
Hmm.
excited that now we're super partnered with them. They're also partnered with the Spooks and Spirits tours now. This is because of me.
Cool.
Um, and now they're gonna be part of the con forever. So because they're gonna be part of the Spooks and Spirits
Good.
tour. So I thought that's great.
Yeah.
And they're just a great group of people. So and then we have like so our season starts at the end of March and then it keeps going. Like we're super busy. Like
Hmm.
I am also now partnered with the Fort Missoula group. So I will be able to
Cool.
take people in there. This is a lot of patience. Like I was surprised that they wanted
Yeah.
to do this. So super active building that we're partnered with. I can tell you that Fort Missoula is a kind of scary building. Like it's
Really?
creepy. Like we heard,
Wow.
oh wait, on the ghost box, it was making a mimicking whistling sound, which was probably electronic, but in the distance
Hmm.
you hear something whistle, and nobody and was silent session, and nobody said anything. I was like, I think this ghost is mocking the ghost box. I'm all like, I thought it was super. I'm pretty sure the ghost thought it was the funniest thing to sound like a real ghost, like you know what I mean, like start whistling at the thing, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, is that a whistle? And then everybody had to go through it with me, and I'm like, yeah, that's a whistle. And I'm like, super clear. Um, they're great, and it's so funny when I go present to them, it's all the staff on a TV screen that want to watch me present to them. They love it.
Mhm.
This is like their highlight of the year. So I'm hoping to go back to them this spring, and then also we'll probably do another one in the fall because obviously it's Missoula and that's a far drive for us. And
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's our kind of highlights. Obviously, we go camping in Bannock every year.
Hmm.
So we're that
Hmm.
is like the end of summer kind of hurrah for us. So
Uh-huh.
and then um but yeah, that's kind of our so far, and we're hoping to make some time in um probably June or July to go out to Little Bighorn again. So yeah, we'll
Oh,
have to invite
cool.
you to that because
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
with
I would
I'm
love to do
friends with
that.
a ghost out there. I bring him tobacco. And then I'm pretty sure
Oh,
somebody
very good.
takes
Yeah.
off of the tobacco, but but I do bring just
But it
I'm like,
disappears, right?
yeah, because it always somebody always takes off with it, I'm pretty sure. But I do bring tobacco to a spirit down there, and it's pretty much, we try to go every other year because that's a drive. So
Uh-huh.
yeah. So yeah, that's something that's going to be planned. And yeah, so that's
Excellent.
kind of our big hurrah of the year, is there's a lot. I
Yeah.
told people I'm
Yeah.
not taking on any new investigations till I present all the rest of our investigation. We might take like one new one, but last year we
Mhm.
ended up going to 7 new locations. And I said, nope,
Wow.
we're gonna have to go through and present all to these places before we take anything new. Because some of them will end
Right.
up being
Right.
some of them will be a business partner at the end. So it's like, like
Mhm.
you gotta wait. So so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Tiffany was asking, do you team up with other paranormal teams from other states?
Oh yes, actually, I'm gonna invite. Hopefully, we can invite the group that came out last year. That's from Utah that heard from
Oh,
us.
cool.
But you'll be surprised. They heard about the conference at FanX, which is a huge con in Salt Lake City. So, like, they were like,
Excellent.
"Oh, we're just
Wow.
gonna go up here that weekend." They invited us to go investigate the Idaho sanitarium, but it was like during the time, like,
Wow.
we don't know. I try not to do a whole lot of traveling during November unless it's for like finishing up presenting and stuff, for
Mhm.
the season. And I
Mhm.
try, because we live in Montana, even though right now looks like we don't have any snow, but we live in Montana that we don't know if we can travel. So, and
Right.
knowing me, if I took on that weekend, I'm pretty sure we would have been stuck at the Idaho Sanitarium, and it would have felt like we were in The Shining because we would have been stuck there. And I would have been like, nope. I would have been like, this doesn't work out that way. So they invite us out there, and I love having other groups, not just from Montana, but like I'm hoping to invite them to at least Bannock. I try to get them to
Mhm.
all my new groups that hang out with me to come out to Bannock because that's a good place to
Yeah.
bring out
Right. Yeah.
new people. So and whoever else groups that want to come out, they can. I'm actually friends with a group out
Mhm.
in Virginia City, Montana. Not in Virginia City,
Mhm.
Montana, Virginia City, Nevada. And sometimes they come
Oh.
out every couple of years. So
Uh-huh.
so they're a great group. I'm friends with a lot of groups. So
That's
like
excellent.
I know
I love
a lot of people. So but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always inviting people to come out and go investigate and stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah. I know there was one of your presenters talking about I don't remember the name of this thing, this entity. Um before I ever thought I was into this really. I just knew that this thing had appeared in my bedroom and it has wears a leather duster, um like a hat that looks leather too, but with a really wide brim. It's a pretty flat hat. And and I was talking to him about that. I said, yeah. He told me more that I didn't know about this thing, but that was really interesting to have somebody that had experienced something that was exactly the same as what I had experienced in an entirely different place. So have you had
Huh.
that happen to you too?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had the experience of like, if you're talking about the Hat Man, like I've never
Yeah.
had an experience of the Hat Man before. Hope, but I had a really great conversation with one of my coworkers that's a PA, and she's had experiences kind of similar to that, and we all had a very good discussion about how we think that sleep paralysis and um entities like that go hand in hand. Like obviously some sleep paralysis is probably,
Oh yeah.
health concern. But she says that she thinks
Mhm.
we agree that it's maybe where you are. Like where the
Yeah.
building is. You know what I mean? Like where
Mhm.
like if you're like at the point she had an experience, she was in a building that she just moved in. She's never had sleep
Mhm.
paralysis ever, and she still hasn't had it ever since. But she would have sleep paralysis in this apartment, and she only was in there for 2 weeks until she decided to move. And
Wow.
she said that she would see these entities at the end of her bed. And I always go,
Mhm.
see, I think there's more to certain sleep paralysis. I think there's like
Mhm.
like paranormal versions of sleep paralysis where you
Absolutely.
actually you have these experiences. Then there's like the health concern one that you obviously need to go get tested for to find out if you
Right.
need like a CPAP machine or stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that's telling you what your oxygen levels are in your body. So she agreed with me. She thinks that that is probably something that's going on with the billing. So think about
Yeah.
it. Les is like somebody that has a higher degree than me, and she has to
Uh-huh.
go and diagnose people. So it's like one of those like there's like so now and she's in my group now, so now we have
Mhm.
conversations about that all the time, and I do believe that because I feel like it's like a certain building that you're in. So like because then when you move she
Yeah.
didn't have that
Mhm.
ever again. So and I think it's there with
Right.
the spirit
Right.
go the entities like, hey, I'm here, I want to scare
Uh-huh.
the crap out of you.
Right?
Or yeah, I would be a sleep paralysis demon, I'm sure, because I would think it's funny. For some reason. I'd be like, it would only be towards not so nice people too. It would be like not so nice
Right.
people. And they'd be like, oh yeah.
Yes. If I want people, I want it to be the people I can scare being good into.
Yeah. It would be great.
Oh, excellent. Well, my dear, I could talk to you all day, I'm sure, but thank you
I'm
so much
sure.
for coming on the show. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here. If you could stay on for a second after the extro deal runs, then we can chat a little more. So cool.
Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Yep. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, everyone.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.